Welcome everyone to the live. How are we all doing? I'm going to be talking in this episode about something very important, which is my MFF, which is on everybody's minds right now. I'm going to be explaining some really important things. So we're going to give it a couple of minutes to everybody's in the room, and then I'm going to dig in.
More powerful than you, making your thing happen, doing business on your terms.
Good to see you guys here. So how are we all? Remember, I've been speaking about this for a while. That you need to make sure that you diversify. Actually, funny enough, put a TikTok out yesterday or the day before, over the last couple of days, explaining about this. I had a video going out tonight that was already pre-recorded before all of this that already addressed this. Now, I don't have a crystal ball or anything like that. However, what happens is that when you've got the experience, you're ready for these things anyway. So I just want to share a couple of things, my thoughts. I've lost count of how many messages I've had internally, externally, through IG, you name it, about this topic. And I've seen a lot of comments, I've seen a lot of videos, I've seen a lot of TikToks, and I think people are missing something massively. And I'm going to share that. And I'm open to a Q&A as well. Let me know if you guys can see my screen, what you can see here. Welcome everyone. No, I don't believe it is the end of prop firms either. Albie, what's going on, brother? Right, so I'm gonna start straight away and give you a bit of an insight as to what's happening right now. Now, many people have asked me, say, Mark, how long do you think this is going to last? No one knows how long something is going to last, but coming from experience of dealing with all different structures and things naturally take time, our fund took 2 years to create. So my best guess is that this is going to be easily 6 months, maybe even a year. Whatever the reason that will be, whatever happens, what you have to start doing is thinking about what's your next best move when it comes to your trading accounts. Now, I understand that many of you might have had your biggest account with them. Look, it's not just affected people that don't trade our system. It's actually affected a lot of our students as well. They're not just on the in-house fund. They have FTMO. They have the funded trade, whatever it is. They've got all these different firms because they've diversified. But just unfortunately, some people have had larger amounts of capital with that one particular firm. Now you can understand why we've taken so many years to put ourselves in a position to protect our students as much as possible. For all of you asking, can't you just temporarily open up your fund? And it's for Falcon students, right? And I've already said and stressed that we're going to be opening up for Rewired students, which in the nature of what's happened, I'm going to speed that up even faster for those guys because they're super committed. I know they've got the right mindset. Of course, we will be talking to them one-to-one and making sure that, you know, they don't have these crazy aggressive strategies that don't fit within our system. But of course, we wanted to give people that option to do so. But now you can understand, people used to battle me on this, right? Welcome to everyone just joining us, by the way. So people used to battle me on this. They used to get advice like, use one account, and let me know if you guys have had this advice as well. Use one account, use the profit, get another one, use that profit, get another one, use that profit, get another one, and then you have 7 figures. But there are a lot of people now that had 400k and so on. They don't have it anymore. Why do you think that is? It's because they told you, and again, this is just people with no experience or just 20-year-olds, like young people in the market. I mean, I can't blame them. They're only giving advice based off their level of experience. However, when you've been in the game long enough, you understand how to diversify these things. Then what? You've gone from using a profit from smaller accounts to then getting another one and another one. And you actually don't have any money at this point because now your account's frozen. You don't know when you're going to get it back, and you've used all the profit because somebody told you on TikTok to keep stacking accounts and didn't listen to building up your personal account. I literally made an episode before this happened explaining this. It was going to go out tonight, right? I made a video on TikTok prior to that, which was essentially the trailer talking about that, building up these accounts. And your goal should be, as long as you've got a 6-figure personal account, you know that you're protected. You know that you don't have to stress about these things. You can use them for what they are. You can leverage them. I'm not saying don't use them, and it's not your fault. Like, none of you could have predicted that, but I'm saying that if all of you put your eggs in one basket, then this is a very valuable lesson. I'll give you an example. So when I first started trading stocks, this has already happened to me before, so it's not like I've not gone through this. I built my account up, and bear in mind, wasn't massive. It was only to 10k, but it was all of my money, versus a lot of you guys are thinking about, I've got 200k with MyForexFunds, and now all of my 200k is gone. You didn't have 200k to start with. You had borrowed leverage money anyway. So don't make it bigger than what it is, right? You got to make your next best move. So I understand, can be frustrating, but you have to make another move versus dwelling on it and then maybe derailing a few other funding assessments by not being in the right state of mind. But basically what happened to me, massive company, you know, on the New York Stock Exchange, it went into liquidation. So all of that capital that got built up, this was MF Global at the time, and this is going back years and years. So I built that up to around 10k, and that was, I mean, it was a big achievement. One day I just couldn't log in, similar situation. So I know what those frustrations were like, and if I could go back, I wasted so many months, if not a good 6 months to maybe even a year, still thinking about it, dwelling on it. It still affected other decision making. So for those of you that are going through the same thing, you know, learn from someone else's mistakes. Like, it's the same situation, and you got to understand that was all the money that I had. I already invested $5,000 into learning how to trade stocks, etc. I then built money up, so now I've got roughly 10k that I'm now going to look to scale that even further. So imagine all of that. You don't have much money at this point. You've not withdrawn your money, and now suddenly you have nothing. You have to start at square one again. You have to just work, stack money from your job, and just build your float back up. Now that can be very disheartening. So I understand what that feels like, and what I vowed to myself, that now what I'll do is I'll put things in place. I won't get greedy, and I'll put these things in place to ensure that doesn't happen. So any questions that you guys have, because a lot of them have been coming in about our in-house fund and things like this. Do you think our students feel more protected with us than with separate accounts? So let's say, for example, you're someone and you've got a 400k FTMO. What do you think is more protected? A 400k with an FTMO or a 400k with us? This is not to single out FTMO. FTMO are fine. They've been going for years. But the point being is that you've forgotten that you're a number on the screen. You're a number on the spreadsheet. And the reason why our traders are able to scale up and that we've got their best interest at heart is that I'm not even going to go into how much money to set these things up. And people were throwing shots towards us, saying it's taking a long time. Oh, they're never going to do it. They're kicking the can down the road. They was very quick to throw shade towards Falcon because we took a long time. Why? Because we're thorough, and because I care about students. I want to make things are done the right way for situations like this. Now people appreciate our infrastructure. Now people can understand. And then with the messages that we've got in, listen, I'm not just going to open it up. You're either a Falcon member, you're a committed Falcon member, and you want to get around the right people, which I've been saying for years. Like, at what point do you now sit there and question, is this actually going to be a future for me now? What if, like, I build up another prop firm and they go, well, get around the right people in the first place. Why do you think I spent so many years building this? So when I say these things, like people come into Falcon and they have everything, it's not some marketing gimmick. It's the truth. Like, you have everything that you need to scale up, get to the next level, apply for the fund, scale to 7 figures. You can get on the property fund. You can get your money working for you. And what you have to bank on is me. You have to bank on my word. You have to bank on my actions over the last 7 years. Have I been congruent with it or not? I mean, you make the decision. Have I or not? Have I been congruent with everything I said I'll do or not? And if I have, and you've seen that, then where would you want to put your confidence? I've got plans for the next 20 years. You think we're going anywhere? You think the fund's going anywhere? You think the property fund's going anywhere? Of course not. So at what point do you have to sit there and assess, who am I even listening to? Because it's all good chasing returns and doing all of these different things, but when push comes to shove, no one cares that your account's got frozen. Who are you reaching out to? No one cares. If anything, people are making memes about it and just taking the piss, not realizing that there's a lot of lives affected here. That's a lot of their capital they were relying on to make money and maybe fend for their family. So I have compassion for those people. And all I can say is this. If you're in our ecosystem, we've got your back 100%. So if you're a Rewired member, got your back, on to speed up that process. We're going to look after you and make sure that you've got funds protected and you can scale up accordingly. And if you're a Falcon member, then you've had the luxury for a very long time. We just had another person pass, by the way. So shout out to Reese. He just passed. He's now portfolio asset manager. He's now trading 60K on his PAM account, and I'm very, very proud of him. He's someone who actually committed to Rewired very early on. Just didn't. I remember when I first met Reese at a meetup, and he was kind of shocked because early on he thought, oh, have I got this too early? And I remember saying to him, if he remembers, I said, Reese, you're ahead of the curve, mate. I said, you're ahead of the curve, stick to the process, and it's going to play out for you. So I'm really, really, really proud of what he's done. And we just launched Dubai as well. Welcome, guys. I know I went off a bit of a tangent there, but you have to understand when it comes to regulations, especially US and Canada, and you're thinking about, oh, the hearing and it's next week and this might have this, another one. You cannot stress about all of these different regulations because you can't control them. And what you're going to be doing is attracted to drama. You're going to be in a negative frequency, and all you're going to be focused on is, are my accounts going to be unfrozen? Are they not? Are they this? How am I going to have access? Honestly, the best move you can make is not jump to any conclusions and spend some time over the weekend auditing over the last 6 months. Who have I actually been listening to? What have I done this year? What is my game plan? Who am I surrounding myself with? Am I just on Twitter following morons that haven't actually got a clue and haven't got experience, have not traded for long enough, and you've come to a realization that you need to be around solid people? If you have that realization, and I hope this does give you a wake-up call, because I don't know what else will. It's just like banks. Like we always think that something won't happen until it does, and that's why we can't control everything. I can't be 100%, but guess what I can do? I can sit there and build infrastructure and think about, right, this affects other people's lives. So what's more important? Do I have to deal with people asking me questions for another year and keep having to say, look, it's coming and coming? I would rather deal with that, or the backlash of that, of people just asking me, like, how comes it's taking so long, knowing that my students are protected. So that's what you'll always get with me. Yes, sometimes things take a little bit longer. Sometimes we get excited about things. Who doesn't? We're looking to change people's lives. But what you can always take to the bank, if you like, is make sure that you know that everything that we do is genuinely, wholeheartedly for longevity and sustainability. And that doesn't become attractive until you're in a position like this, because you don't appreciate it. The same way in psychology, you might not appreciate psychology until you're banking 40, 50K a month and you realize, oh, so my mindset was really important. Like me going through that Rewired training and making sure I have the robust mindset to be calm under pressure. Now I'm trading 7 figures. I've now got the mentality, like, I feel good about this. I can just consistently make 30, 40, 50 grand a month. Then you start to value it even more. Same thing. There'll be many people even within our community that probably have taken for granted what they've got in front of us. And, you know, they're in, they're out. Like, people do this until they realize with perspective, oh, I had it really good. And I've actually not leveraged that and wasted my time here, there, and everywhere. So any questions, feel free to jump in. I know some with 84K profit, MFF, but it's damn Stu for not withdrawing. Of course, I mean, there's things in place that you should have made the withdrawals, but again, it's the same thing. Like that is very, very unfortunate for anyone that has gone through that or had 5K that was processing but it didn't get processed. Like, I get it, like, you have the right to be pissed off about it, but at the same time, are you going to just get pissed off and then forget about it 2 weeks later and then just continue the same behavior? That's the question you got to ask yourself. Even, listen, no one can tell you what happened, right? No one can tell you what happened, so there's no point trying to speculate. Like, even, I mean, there's thoughts and opinions that I have as I don't actually think it's as bad as what it's made out. But the reality is, it's not like they don't have the money to give you. It's got nothing to do with that. I just think there's just a few things when it comes to the US and it comes to Canada, laws and regulations, they're very complex. That's what you have to understand. So I'm not shocked that they're in the situation that they're in. I just don't think you should go into some sort of strange conspiracy that MyForexFunds done this on purpose intentionally to take people's money. I see people talking about a rug pull, and I don't think they really understand what they're talking about, or they don't have the IQ to really understand it. So don't dwell on it. don't come to conclusions because you don't know the answer. Even me, how could I sit here and say, oh yeah, I know? I don't know them. I don't know what's going on. All I can tell you is I can give you a game plan. That's what I really want to give you is, well, a few things actually. Number one, if you're genuinely interested in wanting to join a rock solid community where you're never going to be in this position and you've got these things in place, then you know what to do. It's as simple as that. Stop procrastinating. At what point, what do you need to happen until you realize that we've been here for nearly 7 years and all these people are going to fizzle out? You're going to wait, what, another year, another 2 years? It's up to you. Do whatever you please. But I'm saying this is the option right now. And after that, we're going to keep it even closer, right? The membership prices are going up, not for current members, right? Because they're loyal and we appreciate that. So the price of Falcon is going up in the very near future. So this is the best time for you to get involved. If you're generally competent on your strategy and we don't want to mess it up and you really know your shit and you've not gone through Rewired, number one, you need to get Rewired. So I don't know what you're playing at. And secondly, that's going to be your other gateway into the fund. There's two options. Decide whichever way that sees fit for yourself. But also I want to give you a bit of a game plan, really simple. And this could go right under your nose, but normally it's the most simple things that do. Let me know in the chat how many of you that have been funded and you've had withdrawals or you've had payouts, what do you actually do with that money? I'll give you a really simple ratio, a really simple formula that you can write down. And if you do this, I promise it's going to help you for a very, very long time. Will prop firms be around in the next couple of years? I'm sure they will, but sometimes this sets a trend. It sets the precedents to start clamping down on other things. But this is why we diversify. This is why we put things in place to secure ourselves the best way that we can. And we also have some other things that we're working on that you guys don't even know about yet. So the point being, we're always 10 steps ahead of the market, 10 steps ahead of things that are going on. And that's what you can always have trust in. Let's see. See any questions? Can you speak more about what's opened in Dubai? Dubai is sold out. Dubai, I found you through Words of Wisdom podcast and learnt from a lot of you on the pod alone. Nice, I appreciate that. Yeah, so we've got lots of things going on in Dubai. We're opening a floor as well. I don't even want to get into those details for that. So all of that, like, you will know within the Falcon community what's going on in regards to that. But we do have our first official funded traders meet, wealth creation mastermind, which I'm going to be talking about, again, wealth building strategies. People are going to have exclusive opportunities to get onto the property fund and so many other things. So all of these things I put in place for the community. So that is happening 23rd of November. It's going to be absolutely epic. How is the FFX fund protected from these kinds of regulatory seizures compared to the other prop firms? Again, I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of that, right? I'm not going to get into the legalities of it. But again, you don't need to join it. Like we close it off for a reason. We don't make money from assessments. So what you have to understand is that we don't need to put ourselves in a position for us to go, oh, we're more protected and go down this list of battle it. Listen, we don't need you to join, right? Our stats are ridiculous the way that they are. All I'm saying to you is we spent 2 years building this and put these things in place to avoid shit like that happening, right? So we can put these things, because at the end of the day, it's my name attached to it. You think I'd put something out there so publicly like that and not dot the I's, right? And not actually put these things in place. So we're not going to go into all these regulations. Every single thing is different. I mean, what would you want me to do? Get every single prop firm and compare every single thing? That's not what's important. What you have to look at is that we spent 2 years doing it. We've been running it for a couple of years, and we've got great results. And there's a reason why we're going to do that. We just had someone pass now. Like we're only getting bigger and better and stronger. So this is more of an olive branch for those of you that might not trade the way that we do, that are looking for an avenue into having more of that protection. Then there it is. Or you can roll the dice with another prop firm that starts up next week, or one that you think is legit. That's up to you. I mean, I'm not going to make that decision for you. What I'm saying is that this is the reality of what's happening. Yeah, structure is absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, we're seeing Dubai is going to be absolutely unreal. Falcon member since 2020. I've scaled up to managing over 1M. Love that. Love that. It's epic. Right, see if there's any other questions. Check all the links in the description when it comes to the membership and it comes to Rewired, but that will be the gateway. So just so you understand our thinking behind it, our goal is to have the most successful fund in the retail space, right? We're moving towards that 100 million goal under management. So in order to do that, of course, we have to be hedged. We can't have everyone taking, euro dollar at the same time. That's just not how these things work. So we need people competent on different instruments. We need different systems and different strategies. So 20% of the fund will be opened up to Rewired students. Why? Because we know they've got the right mindset. They're getting trained correctly. We can trust and vet them and go, these are the right type of people. They're going to take this seriously and not mess with our stats. And of course they get the opportunity to trade on the in-house fund, and there's things like the virtual trading floor as well. But as of right now, it is only for Falcon FX members, right? We exclusively made this happen for them to give that protection in case of things like this. But because we think so much bigger than that, that is the other gateway. I see that as a 2-in-1, because you need Rewired anyway, because it's going to get you into shape in all areas, and you're going to have the right type of mindset to trade this money, and then you have the opportunity to get the money with the extra security. Like, I'll give you, for example, let's say that you was with, I don't know, FTMO, and you had 400k. If you lost that 400k, who are you talking to exactly? No one, right? Could be the fund, the trader, could be any of them. Who are you talking to? You are a number on the spreadsheet. That's their model. They don't encourage you to lose, but it's within their interest for more people to lose. Do you get paid out? Yes. So we're not here to argue that story. You get paid out, that's fine. However, with our fund, the way it's structured, we can, and we've already done this, right? We can look at people's trades independently and understand, right, this is our student. Take John, for example. John is very competent. He knows his stuff. And unfortunately, he lost his 120k account. Let's actually look at it and dissect it and what happened. He started on 15k, scaled his way up. Okay, so these trades that he took were actually very solid trades. He just unfortunately hit a really bad sequence of drawdown, and then he got unfunded. What can we then do? We can either reinstate his account at 120, or we can start him off a little bit smaller, let's say like 60, so he doesn't have to go through the whole assessment phase again, because we can actually look at it and go, it's actually done nothing wrong, and everything is actually fine, versus someone being reckless that may need to go through the whole process again. So again, how much is that worth to you? When you're building your life and you're building your long-term career, that sustainability of knowing, right, I've got these people, I can talk to them one-to-one, like that is worth its weight in gold within itself. So I'm not going to list all the benefits. I'm saying this is what it is, and now you can kind of understand why we spent so much time doing it. So people are very quick to throw shots, throw shade, but then when push comes to shove, who are they talking to? No one cares your account's frozen. But guess what? I take that shit seriously and make sure that our students are protected as possible. Suddenly, right, think about it right now. You was focused on returns, and now returns don't matter. What is now, tell me honestly, what is now more important to you? Returns or your security? If you had 400k and someone said to you, look, you've got a 20k payout waiting there, but you might get it. It might take 6 months. It might take a year. Or you could have 200k and you was making 4, 5% or 8% per month, and it was safe, and you could speak to them one-to-one and you knew where you stood. Which one would you take in a heartbeat? It's really, really simple. So what you need to prioritize is the foundational layers of your security. So what I would do is this, as a bit of a exercise for you, as you're scaling up, because this is not the end of the world. I think people are dwelling on it a bit too much. There's always more capital you can get. It should be more of a wake-up call as to how am I going to diversify now, right? And why do I need to do it? When you're getting a payout, don't listen to someone on TikTok that tells you to just keep leveraging funded accounts after funded accounts, because you'll be in the same situation as them. What you need to do is you need to take a portion away from that. Now you can pick either 20 or 30%. I advise more 30%. Put that into your personal account, right? Just make sure that everything is all clear. Perfect. Right, so you put that 30% into your personal account. You're building that up slowly. Within a couple of years, you might have 6 figures. The question you've got to ask yourself is that, let's say you had, I don't know, 400k or 300k with MyForexFunds. Do you think you would be less stressed if you had 100k personal capital right now? Of course you would, because you'd be protected. If you're a full-time trader and you're relying on it, well then guess what? you would definitely feel more confident. Why do you think we go through things like the golden number exercise and make sure that you've got a buffer in place? Like, now all of these things are suddenly extremely fucking important, right? Because you need to take this shit seriously. When I talk about treating things like a business, why do you think I tell you these things? Is because all these things need to be in place. So what you do is this. Take from it what you will. 30% into your personal account, right? So you're now building it up slowly, even if it's £500, even if it's £1,000, just start building it up so you've got it there. Then, I'm not saying don't leverage funding firms and don't use money for another assessment. Don't just take the majority of it. I saw one person's opinion, which was leverage as many funding firms as you've got, and then whatever you've got left, whether it's about 10%, and use that as play money and just, go out on holidays. Again, this is a prime example of just an immature advice that's actually not going to build you any wealth. So what you do, 30%, straight bang that in, 10%, spend it on yourself, invest it in yourself, do whatever you want. It could even be 20%. What I'm saying is create a ratio plan. Then the rest of that, you can go, right, I'm going to invest 25% maybe into an asset because I want it for the long term, and 25% of the rest of that profit, I'm going to use that into another assessment. I'm not going to try and buy loads all at once. I'm just going to add another one. And then every single month, I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to follow that process. I promise you, you do this for a year, and that you have these things scaled up, by the end of the year, you probably would be trading more capital than what you would have been trading anyway, versus trying to get the biggest account as quick as possible. We're very fast to want to have this identity of, I just want to be a 7-figure trader, but who cares? It's not your 7 figures. All you should be caring about is your bottom line. Like, how much money are you making? Do you know why? Because the same thing is true when it comes to people that earn money in a job. Like, for example, someone will ask them, okay, so how much do you make a year? That's an irrelevant question. How much do you keep per year? That's the more important question, isn't it? Because someone could make 50k a year in a job, someone could make 38k a year as a sole trader, for example. They could be more cost effective, more tax effective with their money, and they could actually make more than the person who's earning 50 or 60, right? So it's got nothing to do with how much money is on paper. The same way someone who's like, right, I've got 7 figures, but they trade all the accounts differently, they don't stick to a proper formula, they're fearful, they're in a fearful state of mind, they're not done the mindset training like Rewired, and they're not trading them well anyway. And then you've got someone else who's trading, let's say 400k, but they're competent, they're switched on, they're organized, they're not trying to get the biggest account possible and trying to flex how much their account size is. They're making 8 to 10% per month. So you've got someone who's got 7 figures, but they're making fuck all. And you've got someone who's trading 400k, making 20, 30 grand a month. The point being is to focus on the important part, not the things that just sound good, right? That is where I need to get your head in the game. That's going to help you so much more. Let me see if I've missed any questions here. Don't worry about what's legit, what's not, right? This is more, I'm giving you the blueprint to stop you falling into this trap. Because the thing is, you can't waste your energy in trying to predict who is legit and who's not. What you need to do is, what's the best move that you can make if the worst that's happened? Because let's say they are legit. They could still be legit and it's not their fault and the worst happens. That I think we're under this impression that this happens to people that are just not legit. It doesn't work like that. There could be so many reasons why MyFF got into that situation that is beyond your concern, control and understanding. That's actually not dodgy whatsoever, but it causes things like this to happen by default legally, right? So then you put your nose in, your 2 cents, and you go into this conspiracy mindset, but the reality is they may have done nothing wrong, but they're currently in this situation that appears to then look dodgy for you. So you spending time thinking, my funded trade, I think that's legit. What's the point in wasting time and energy on that? What you should be doing is making sure you got a good plan. When you're getting your withdrawals, take them as quick as possible, and then what are you doing with that money? And then not having too much with one person. So diversify as much as you can. There's the other question, which is there's so many people that are not even ready for funding, and they've wasted like 8 grand, 10 grand, and they'll have the audacity to tell me, I'm looking at this funding firm, it seems new, it popped up 2 months ago, I might try an account with them, I might try an account with this person. How much is that? It's 200, 300. So when you count it all up, it's like £1,000 or more worth of assessments that I'm meaning to do Rewired, but I'm just not in a position yet. I'm like, yes, you are. You're in a position to do Rewired right now, but you just think you're not because you're obsessed with taking 4 or 5 funded assessments because you think that's going to make you rich. You're not. You're gonna blow that grand, and you're going to do it again and again and again, and then you'll come to me when you're 7 grand in debt, which is normally the case of, I think I really need to get my mindset in the right place, didn't think I was ready. I mean, I could have told you that 2 years ago. Like, it's really simple. How can Falcon Forex Fund be sustained over a long term for owners' perspective? Well, our students are consistent. That's the most important thing. $100%, Mr. Boss. 100%. MFF was quite honest with the way they run the firm. That's the point that I'm making. I think people are very quick to think, are they legit, are they not? I don't think people understand what that actually means. And I realised that when people was talking about a rug pull. It was like, they really don't understand. And a lot of people, it doesn't even affect them. They have potential money they could make. Like, if you're confident, you'll just gain that money back anyway in a different funding firm. So yeah, it's irritating and it's frustration and you have to go through the process. But if you're competent and you know what you're doing, what are you worried about anyway? You just have to deal with it as like, right, that's the cost of business. It happened. I can learn a valuable lesson. And guess what? Now I go again, better prepared, and I now have the lesson of knowing what to do with my money. Isn't that more of a valuable lesson than dwelling on whether you think the firm is legit or not? That's the point I'm making. Reminds me of Henry Ford's story in Beyond Rewired. If you're skilled enough, you can press the button. And yeah, exactly that. Exactly that. Well, I'm going to move on from the MFF saga to its deadline day. I mean, who thought we was coming on here to charts? Right, we've still got, how many hours have we got left? Yeah, we still got a few hours to get some sign-ins in, so any football fans, then we will see. Right, let me see if I have seen any other questions. So hopefully that has given you the peace of mind, especially from our fund anyway. Our students are protected. I've put all those things in place. If you have any questions, shoot us a message. Shoot Ibby a message, Abdu a message, Ibrahim a message, the Falcon IG, whatever you please, or the Rewired IG if you're generally a serious trader. So I am fired up for where we're going to take the fund. You're going to see why in years to come. How incredible it really is. I can't wait to watch your live, search your account. Mark can't trade. Rocket Bunny. Come on, man. At least be like a legit name if you're going to have an insult, and be creative with it. Like, be more creative. I'm genuinely disappointed in the insults that they're so weak. Thanks, Mark. I'm in Falcon and appreciate the hard work and put into the infrastructure. It's extremely robust. I've been consistently profitable 6 months thanks to Falcon. Love that. That's what I like to see. You see what I mean now, right? When it comes to having things in the right place, when you can just stick at it, you realize, keep it simple, crack on, don't focus on anyone else, and you get profitability like that, and these things come into place. But this is what I mean. People don't appreciate things like infrastructure that we talk about until, you know, stuff like this happens. But anyway, let's have a quick look, right? So we was actually looking at the DXY here. This is going to be very brief. I just wanted to address that. And like I said, any detailed questions, I think I've covered enough. And I hope that you've actually taken away a lot of value from that game plan. I'm telling you now, it's so simple, it'll go right under your nose, but it'll be the very thing that keeps you in this game for years to come. DXY is looking very, very promising for that move to the upside. One area that I wanted to give you an insight in is actually euro dollar. But August, how did everybody get on for August? Because August was meant to be a slow month, right? I mean, it was so slow that I finished on 17%. I'm not sure how, but it happened. And on euro dollar. So I've become the new euro dollar specialist, which I'm really pleased about. Honestly, the most simple trades. and we forecasted these trades, I mean, months in advance. We're not shocked that they happened. Just have to be ready to execute and have the right mindset to do so. How did you guys finish up for the month? Euro dollar has still got more to go. So this is what I wanted to leave you with the charts. Forget about US oil and all those things. US oil is probably a sell, by the way, just from memory. Right, even though it's come up aggressively, I think that's just a scoop back up. So what you have to understand is on something like euro dollar, it doesn't necessarily need to come back up once more to complete this structure. And the reason as to why that is, well, Falcon guys will know, is the clue is above. This has already happened, right? And this is usually enough of a move. So you got to look at it from a volume perspective. Do we need that much volume for the causation for this move to just sell off? We actually don't need price action to come back up there. That would be nice, and that would be a complete structure, but usually isn't going to happen off of the back of that structure, because that creates a completely different formation. So I'm actually more inclined to believe that euro dollar is just going to carry on selling off from here, and your best bet is to be looking for trades underneath that low and then take that trade into here. So as I was saying before, what we was looking at for euro dollar, which this one, you know, went pretty fast, is this. So let me show you how. The irony is people always talk about discretion and things like that. The reality is we're actually very, very mechanical in that sense, and the people that claim to be extremely mechanical usually have a lot of discretion. It's actually hilarious. Right, but let's see if I missed anything there. Welcome to everyone who's just joined the live, by the way. I had a good August. Lovely. That's what I like to hear. %, better than July. Love that, Matt. That's what I like to see. Not for a long time. MFF is not going to return for a long time. I wouldn't stress about that. Make your next best plan. Right, so euro dollar. Very simple. Sell off. It leaves a footprint. It comes back up to tag the high. We sell off. We create a footprint. Gap. Gap. This high doesn't take out this high. This high doesn't take out this high. This high does. Drops out. Continuation. But remember, retail patterns. Retail caught on the wrong side. So I'm confused why this bear flag played out, but is what it is. So it worked that time. And then we've got another internal structure. This 1, 2, 3. Again, another retail pattern strangely working out. That one there. And then we've also got this high doesn't take out this high. This high doesn't take out this high. So we was waiting for the push above and the push back in. And we've got continuation from the top of that range to the bottom of that range. So strangely enough, it just seemed to work. It's the same thing every single time. It's the same idea that we're looking at. Retail strikes again. Maybe we can build the most successful retail fund. So we will see. So for euro dollar right now, as you can see, it's been displaying the same sort of behavior. Now you can understand the thinking behind the positions. So a break of this low, you know, Falcon guys will know what they need to do. Underneath this ray line, we're looking for this run into here. So even if you was, let's say you had a retest strategy or like whatever you have, the run itself that we're looking for is you're going to be looking at, you won't be looking for the 2 pip stops. We know people have gotten over that now. We're looking for the 10 pips, 12, 12.4. That's roughly the scope that you're working with. And the question you've got to ask yourself is that, are you holding yourself back by cutting your winners short? See, clear 3 touch descending, euro dollar sweeping that daily, hook to the left, showed bullish signs of continuation, failed the hook, and then looking for short sticks, Y formed near, missed on the daily. Yep, beautiful, really simple analysis. So we know what we need to do with it. So I was talking about this on the DXY for the Falcon guys. Is this is the area that we're looking for it to hold, because it's just part of one thing. Because you've got to understand where we're positioned. Where we're positioned right now, I'll give you another bit of a clue why I'm looking at euro dollar for a sell. you've got to look at it like this. Is the price action that we're seeing on the DXY enough right now, tagging this low, right? So we near missed it, then we come back down, took the low out, we move conveniently with NFP, we've seen some volatility, that's fine. So what you sometimes get is these type of structures, they just go from here. So is there a lot of room for the DXY to move higher? Yes, we've taken out this high. Technically, that is a near miss area, but it's a very average area. I'll tell you why. Because the sheer fact that you can just get another one to the left in close proximity, that just shows me that's the middle of the structure itself, and has got nothing to do with the value area. So that way we can position ourselves really easy and go, call that V, right? That's your value area. That's your true value area. Forget about the trend line. Forget about this, because I know you guys love to make those comments. Forget about the trend line. This is a high, right? Just like that high got taken out by that high. It's really simple mechanics of the market. If the DXY is steamrolling to that high, what do you think is going to happen on euro dollar, for those of you that just only trade euro dollar? Well, then euro dollar, it's just going to drop out. But how you get in is going to be important, right? So underneath there, that is the sell that we're looking for. Is there a potential counter long on euro dollar? Maybe. People in Falcon, you'll know exactly how to determine that. And there is one other, I would say this is our ideal perfect play, but I don't want to live in ideals, because I think that's when you just run away with fantasies. The ideal play would be a Falcon entry in here, you take that long, you get out of your buy position around this area, and then on the larger 3-touch structure, the same way this conveniently has a 3-touch structure, you look for that sell. So you kind of buy into the sell. That would be unreal. That's just one potential, and there's certain specific things that would have to happen to look at that. I'm more inclined to be looking underneath here, and if that's a nice simple 12 to 1 into that low, that's a beautiful position, very straightforward, very consistent, in line with the higher time frame narrative, and you just need your lower time frame entry, protect your risk, keep it simple. During the 4-week period in the month, which weeks are likely to be most profitable? If I could tell you which week is going to be profitable, I think I would have even more money. Which prop firm can I trade with? Because a lot of prop firms are going... the thing is, I can't speak for all these different prop firms, so your best bet is to trade with us. I mean, what else could I recommend? I don't know the ins and outs of their business. I don't know if they're looking to shut down in a week from now. How could I possibly give you that information? I can't even go and vet them. I wouldn't even be able to get access to the information to go, yep, thumbs up, these are really good. So are you shocked that I'm going to vouch for my own prop firm? Right, of course I am, because we set things up in the right way. So that is your best route. What other possible route could I give you versus something I have direct access to and see what we've set up? Think about it. But if you don't want to trade with us, do whatever you want to do. Just don't come to me in a year from now or 6 months from now and say, it happened again. I tried this one, I tried that one. You're on the stream. You can make your own decisions. You're an adult. It's up to you. There you go. Mr. Bosch just gave it to you. So the last 2 weeks. So the first 2 weeks, don't trade. Listen, we can't pick the weeks, right? But stats are stats. The reality is most people are not getting a payout. Most people, remember, most people that get their record payouts will lose their account a month later. I wonder why that is. Can't be psychology though, right? It has to just be that all 30,000 odd of those accounts just hit drawdown. Couldn't possibly be for emotional reasons. I'm sure they will. I'm sure things will get regulated. It usually starts to set the trend. But again, this is why we put things in place to ensure that. This is the difference, guys, between professionals. I hope you realize and you can see that now. That's why when I see people following the advice of like a 20-year-old who's got no experience, he's got a little Telegram group, you're so misguided you couldn't even possibly imagine the risk that you put yourself up to. Not for the fact that they might not know what they're on about. They might actually just be very talented, young, been in the game from 16 and got 4 years experience. Who knows? But even then, that person's not lived enough life yet to be able to mentor you. They've not gone through the things that they need to go through to be able to go like, right, this is how you deal with this scenario. This is how you deal with this situation. That's the difference at Falcon. I've done it. You know, I've been trading half my entire life. Think about that. Half of my existence, I've been a trader or started to learn to trade until now, right? So that's a long, long time. Traded through a couple of recessions. There's not really things that would shock me. But right, guys, I think that is a wrap for the questions. Any other detailed ones, shoot myself, anyone in the team a message. We're happy to help. Keep an eye out for Euro Dollar. Falcon, guys, the monthly live webinar. I'm going to be sharing a lot more exclusives for that. So for those of you that are looking to get involved, now is your time to do so if you want to join us on our monthly live round table. It's going to be absolutely epic. The tickets for Dubai just sold out in literally about 10 minutes. It was crazy. There is so many positive things happening for Falcon over the next 3 to 5 years that you really want to be on board with. And I'm so grateful we have a very committed, rock solid, robust community that does things the right way, not trying to get any get rich quick, and they really want to make this a career. And I can't wait to see more and more people succeed, like Reese, who just smashed it. So shout out to Reese again for ticking off that 60k. We keep moving forward, guys. And for those of you that have been affected, genuinely, as a compassionate person, like I don't wish that upon anyone. And if you see people making, you know, jokes and memes, move on from it, right? Just make a good game plan. Make sure you're around the right people. Make your next best move. And as long as you spend time doing that over the weekend, you'll be absolutely fine. You'll have a clear head. You'll have clarity, and focus on the controllables. There's things out of your control that don't deserve your energies. Just focus on what you can plan moving forward. You can come back from this. Remember, if you've got the skill, you can do it anywhere. That's the most important thing. Take care, people. Have a great weekend. I'll catch you all soon. Peace out.